started this episode of the CrunchCast. This is our crazy Halloween episode, and that's why we're all dressed up like goofballs. I'm Chris Holden, dressed something like, I don't know what the hell this is. I got the idea from that from Gary Oldman's facial hair in Bram Stoker's Dracula, because he's the best actor in the world. But with me here is Brian McConnell, who is super sexy. How do you say it? Super sexy sax man?
I think it's just sexy sax man.
Sexy sax. You can put that in YouTube, and this guy plays this George Michael track.
It's pretty funny.
And Brian's got the full deal, but he's not fully invested in it right now because he wanted to keep his shirt on.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm not going to be fully invested because I'm going to take this hat off eventually because it's kind of annoying to wear. Speaking of annoying things to wear, our good pal Jesse Sosa, Skanker Zero, is dressed in a full rabbit suit and a poly count shirt.
That is dedication.
So he is a total freak show, and I think my audio levels are a little loud. I'm going to adjust those real quick. Sorry about that if we're blaring. And the music, or a little intro music there was a little different this week.
Was it Nickelback?
Yeah, it was Nickelback. No, it was just, I was hoping it would sound scary and creepy, but it didn't really come in. It was like too long of an intro, you know? That doesn't matter, so forget about it. Let's talk about Halloween. I'd ask you guys what you're going for Halloween, but I think we've got that pretty much figured out. Unless you're just wearing that for fun, Jesse.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a variation of this, I assume.
Are you guys going trick-or-treating?
We're going to Zombie Ball on Saturday night. It's this big old concert, kind of big club party kind of thing in downtown Austin.
Nice. I wish there was trick-or-treating for adults where you could, like, go get shots at people's houses.
Shots.
Nice.
Yeah, people just roaming the street drinking.
I would do that. If
it's not a bad idea.
If they show me their ID and they're over 21, I'll
but,
give them a shot or something.
Look, if there was a real neighborhood, Brian, seriously, there's a real neighborhood, like kind of like downtown where you live, where it's like house, right? Mm-hmm. You wouldn't get down the block before you would have died of alcohol poisoning.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So maybe your idea, maybe it's just like a shot of beer or something like that.
Oh yeah, possibly. Yeah.
You guys. I got a cane too. Hey, little children, I'll whack you with my cane because it's totally made of wood and hard as fuck.
My costume is like almost 100% done. I just need suspenders. That's all I need.
You don't you have them though?
No, I was going to buy that
them?
pair, but I wanted to see what they looked like first. They're really, really thin. They're supposed to be like an inch.
Oh, the characters?
Yeah.
Oh, you could get thin suspenders somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah. I just have to go invest in that. They didn't have any at Goodwill, so...
Damn it. But either way, you got a pretty sweet mullet wig out of it. And Brian also has the mustache. Oh, yeah. But there's no point. You shouldn't take it out and waste the adhesive on it tonight. Yeah, that's for the actual Halloween events.
Plus, I'm growing a real one anyway.
Oh, so real. Yeah, it felt weird for me. I've had a full beard for so long. I just shaved this in. I need to clean it up some more, but a little part of me died.
I was going to say that the funny thing about my outfit is it's really just a polycount t-shirt. That's it.
Everything else is just you every day when you come home.
Yeah, not really anything special.
I was going to say, you got to be getting hot in that thing.
Yeah, it's... Yeah. I was actually wondering, because I leave my window open a little bit, so it would be interesting just kind of like looking here and see a full-grown man in a bunny suit just sitting here on the computer.
Oh, yeah, you know what they think. They think, that guy is really into sports.
Yeah, he is.
I hate rabbits.
I love sports. I love sports mascots. I'm a big fan. And then I got online, and I was like, oh my, what is this? I just don't know what to think anymore, Ryan. I just love the local team. That's what it's all about.
Of course, you have to.
And tonight, the Rangers won tonight, so they're just one game away from the World Series championship, or winning the actual, whatever it is, the belt, maybe, right?
Oh, it means they're the best.
The belt, yeah.
The title belt.
They probably get rings or something, right? Do they get a trophy, like a little trophy if the guy? Anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
So, what's hot on the net this week? Anybody have anything exciting going on with games? Either games they're playing, games they're excited about, news. I'm just going to throw a couple things out there really quick. The Diablo 3 Dark Soulstone trailer. The 1 hour long making of Darkstone trailer panel. And the Skyrim live commercial. Those are all pretty cool.
Wow.
Did you see the Skyrim one?
I didn't see the Skyrim.
It's pretty dope. Let's check it out.
The
There.
one was. Oh my gosh.
Well, it's a live action Skyrim, so it's like actual people
Oh really?
in the village, and it's really well done. And the guy looks like the Skyrim dude, and then I would say it's a CG dragon, because what else would it be?
Yeah.
At the end, kind of shows up, but everything else is live action. It's pretty cool.
Oh wow.
Like video games.
Arkham City right now.
Oh yeah, everybody's playing Arkham City. What did those guys do? A couple guys at work went and bought like that Nas energy drink or something like that because it had a DLC suit through the can. I don't know what it was.
Oh really?
They said there was some DLC they got.
No, I didn't know anything about that. You get a new. You can get a new suit if you buy it. If you get like a code on the can or something.
Probably something like that. Like all those little Mountain Dew bottles now.
Oh yeah.
And I guess Doritos have. I don't know what it is, that Modern Warfare experience or something. I don't know. I saved all the caps though in case somebody wants them.
I saw those on your desk. I
Yeah.
was wondering what's going on.
You're like, why isn't he throwing away that trash?
Is that currency?
Yeah, it looks like currency the way.
Yeah.
My desk is like, I'm like the one guy with the clean desk at work, and so when you see anything on there out of place, it's like, what's this? Is something wrong? He's got some trash on his desk. Yeah.
I was gonna steal our codes.
Oh, by the way, check the levels on my mic because I realized it was up and now it's down. Is everything fine? My audio levels fine?
You sound better now, but I moved
Okay.
some
You're
of the
actually-
hair out of the way.
You're coming in a little loud for me, but don't adjust it. I'll adjust it on my end
Okay.
because it's easier that way.
Or
Harder.
It was like up here somewhere, and I had to like get in there and move it down.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. You got to deal with it.
I'm gonna get a good look at
Doing really good, awesome television shows. Oh yeah, I can adjust that for
That
you.
head is awesome, dude.
Yeah. We're what, like 5 minutes into this thing? Oh god.
Yeah,
What did
yeah.
I sign up for?
You can take it off anytime. I'm not afraid.
No, I'm gonna try. For those that are watching the YouTube video, I'm gonna try.
Most of our
trying to keep
audience
this
is the
thing on.
MP3s. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, this week I finally got up the RSS feed, thanks to let me make sure I get the name right. Yeah, Brian Goodsell. That's a good last name, Goodsell.
dude, I'm
That's like
jealous.
both things.
Good sell.
Like I want to be like
Come on now.
I want to be like Maximo Hardcock or something. You know what I mean? Like what's that one guy, Max Fightmaster? That's the actual real name. He's like a Sergeant Major Max Fight. It's something like that. You can look it up, but Cracked had a whole article about the best names. But yeah, that's a good name. And he just hooked me up with some links. I've been looking up tutorials and stuff on RSS feeds, and I just couldn't. Like I'm a smart enough guy. I figured out all these video games, but I just couldn't find exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
In the words that I could really understand. Look, I'm an artist, folks. I can make websites sometimes, but good luck. What it had was a link that had a feed validator that could, once you put it in your URL to it, it would tell you exactly what was. It would list out the lines of code and tell you everything that was wrong or what could be improved.
Oh, wow.
So that, and just being able to just toss mine in and seeing it, and then I could click on what it would tell you exactly why and give you examples. It was a really good site. So yeah, with that, I got it.
What's
up
the
there.
URL for that?
Oh, it's like a feed validator or something.
Ah.
I would have to look it up again now. Let me tell you about this great site and then not. Hey, does that wig have sideburns, or is that just?
It does have sideburns, but
They're just long
I don't know
strands
what's
of hair.
I don't know what's up with them. I'll try to get them around my sunglasses.
Well, you're looking good, bro.
There we go.
That doesn't help you at all, does it, Jesse?
It comes in through the eyes.
I was gonna say, what are those, like a mesh for the eyes?
Yeah.
That's how Spider-Man sees, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that. Oh, something that was on the internet this week. Adam's talk at that over Polycount.
Yeah, how was that? Have you seen it yet? I haven't had a chance to check it out.
I've only been able to watch the very beginning of it. I haven't had a chance to. I've been way too busy here at home and at work. Arkham City pretty much took all my time this weekend.
Absolutely. You can't just watch somebody talk over a top-level video game like that.
Yeah. but I do suggest everyone go check that out.
Well, it's basically like the polycount talk, right?
Yeah, he was just giving a talk about all that, and it's so far from what I've read, people are really excited about it. I mean, really like it. So I'm looking forward to. I believe I'm gonna have some time on Wednesday. I'm just gonna go through it.
Awesome.
Well, that's good. It's weird. I remember him back when he was like super noob, trying to get into the industry, and he'd be asking me questions all day, and I'm like, "Dude, just do this." He's like, "Nah." But then
Was it Shine, right?
No,
How many
no.
names did he have?
Shine was John's old name.
Oh, that was John.
It was like Joy and Milk and Dumb Joy and a bunch of other stuff that
That's
happened.
right.
Yeah, he was a troubled young man, but
Yeah,
then he
was.
found his way. He was beaten down by the internet for several years until he found his way.
I do miss his Dumb Joys, though.
Oh, those
were
little
good.
comics. It had a neat little style to it.
Mhm.
I'll have to check that
Can't
out.
go wrong with a fun style.
What is it? Dumb Joys?
I don't even know it's on the internet anymore.
Oh, okay.
It
I
could be.
just like little cartoony comics. I'm not into like the hardcore awesome stuff.
Yeah. You saw my comic, right?
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid. It's still on my website, too.
Hey, so what are you guys doing for Halloween?
I have no idea. I'm probably just gonna end up some sort of bar hopping. I mean, we work downtown, so we just pretty much go.
Yeah, I'm just gonna dance all night and play the saxophone.
I'm gonna dance my heart out.
That's literally all I'm gonna do is just drink. Play the
Sorry,
saxophone.
girls. It's boys' night. I just gotta dance.
I just gotta dance.
No, it's just his character. If you haven't seen the sax man, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
it's the character.
I guess I should have made that more clear. That
No,
I don't have
no,
any
no.
musical talent.
Look, I'll help people out and I'll put it on the screen. But you can feel free to describe it in any way you wish while I YouTube.
It's just this guy playing the tune to "Careless Whisper" by George Michael's over and over and over again, and he gets approached by so many security guards telling him to leave, and it's just funny. It gets really good about like a minute into it when security guards come up to him and stuff. But
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have it muted, but I'm just showing the videos. We'll get it. It's so funny to me. There he is.
I love it, dude. I love it.
He just goes around pranking people. He just goes into places and start playing the sax, and he's playing the saxophone for real. Though they also dub the song over to make it sound nice because the audio levels he's getting in from just walking into Taco Bell and playing one saxophone while running around is very difficult. I mean, I used to play the trumpet, so I know. Well, you can't just walk into a room and just go, "I'm just going to rock this trumpet," because you get terrible acoustics.
Yeah.
It sound like shit. You know what? You're down there in Austin, so I'm sure there's a lot of like street performer types.
Yeah.
Here and there. You ever see those guys? I see them all the time. We've got them here on 16th Street Mall here in Denver. Very popular, but guys, location is key. If I've found that it's not an issue of who's seeing you, it's an issue of acoustics. Like I saw a guy, it was like two people playing guitars and like really going at it loud, but they were on this corner, and the way this corner was set up, you didn't hear, I didn't even hear them until we were right up on them. I mean, literally, I was like, what? I was almost surprised. But there's this other guy who's standing right inside an alley. It was like a big amp was behind him. It was great. You got to figure those acoustics out.
That's good advice, but hopefully none of these game developers that we're talking to need that advice.
Nah, you want that kind of advice. Look, if you got any hobbies, you're gonna go out and do that.
Oh yeah.
Back when I was playing like footbag and juggling a lot, we would go out to 16th Street Mall all the time and just play.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't even put out a hat, but people would say, "Why don't you put out a hat?" Because we're just having fun.
Yeah.
We're just performing for fun.
Yeah. Now, down here on 6th Street, there's a lot of street performers, but they always get drowned out because all the clubs down there have tons of live music every night. So it's pretty tough. But I have seen some pretty good ones, some New Orleans style, like, just big old marching band, a drum corps, and stuff like that. Just
There's
kind
some
of
good
out there.
performers out there, too. And one of the interesting things they do about 16th Street Mall is they have pianos. Like, there's legit pianos staggered all the way down the mall. Mm-hmm. So sometimes there's people just like, dun, dun, like trying to figure their way through chopsticks. But other times, man, there'll be some guy that just sits down and shreds. That's so awesome. I love that.
I'm nervous to touch those.
Do you have any outside skills, Jesse, besides your video game arts?
I used to play baritone in high school. low brass, baritone, trombone.
No one even knows what that is, but me and you.
But the band nerds,
Yeah.
there should be a good amount in there.
We'll start a band nerds podcast. Get way more hits than this.
Other than that, oh man,
Being lethargic, cat petting.
I can cook maybe.
Nice.
Yeah, here's my kitty.
I could solve a Rubik's Cube.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, just...
Dude, Brian is like the Rubik's master. It's weird.
I can just like stand on the side of the street and just solve Rubik's Cubes, I guess.
I'll pick his Rubik's Cube up and be like, twist it once and put it down and say, unsolvable.
So,
Like a
so
chat.
what you're saying is, if we're stuck on a deserted island, you have possibly the most useless skill.
Very, very much so, yeah.
Well,
I don't think we could make a Rubik's Cube out of like coconuts or anything like that.
I mean,
So-
I guess unless we're like on the Mist Island or something, and we do come across
yeah.
that puzzle.
we end up on some kind of crazy puzzle island. Damn it. Where's Brian? Where's his dexterous fingers? Yeah, I used to play trumpet in high school, and it was pretty cool. I got a guitar after that, but I always just dicked around. I never got good. I have a keyboard now that I'm okay with, but, you know.
Speaking of deserted on desert islands, like that's one of the big reasons why I work out and stuff. Is just in case I somehow get deserted on a desert island.
Cool.
Like, I don't know. Hopefully I can bring something to the table.
You know what would be great is if you knew it was going to happen so you could bring some supplies.
Yeah. That would be helpful.
But most likely you're just going to like be thrown off of a boat, lose all your clothes in the ocean, and just wash up totally dehydrated.
Yep.
Oh, that's going to suck.
I'd have my suit, right?
You'd have what?
I'd have my suit.
That bunny suit?
Yeah.
Well, that'd be fine. You could build a shelter out of that.
I think I could.
But yeah, as for useless skills, I think that's about it. Like,
I feel like juggling is up there pretty high of a useless skill. However,
You know,
I was going to say, being able to have the high dexterity I have in my hands, that's pretty useful in life.
yeah,
Like, there's so many times I can just be like, bam, and catch something, and it's like, oh, that's cool, I caught it.
hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
It's definitely helpful. Oh yeah.
And I can attribute it completely to that because, I mean, I've broken this arm and had surgery on it a few times. It's useless, but anyway.
it would be pretty interesting to see what kind of game developers could create if stranded on a deserted island, you know, with enough electricity and stuff to run your computers and whatnot. But I just kind of wonder, because we would be bored all day, every day, so we would have to do something.
Dude, we go straight Minecraft on that bitch. I go fucking punch a tree, build a shelter.
Real life Minecraft.
Dude.
I would just skip down the beach all day. That's all I would do. Is just skip the beach.
I would probably masturbate a lot.
Oh yeah, that too. We'd have to.
Yeah, there's plenty of time for that once you get your food and shit.
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe. It's all about priorities at that point in time.
As long as there's coconuts, you're pretty much set, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of freaking
A
coconuts.
lot of freaking coconuts.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, there's fish, I guess, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the instant. Because fishing takes just a little bit more. You have to at least figure out some kind of tool. Though, really, I mean, you just wait for a low tide, get you a big palm tree fan, and fan a bunch of fish out onto the beach.
I mean, yeah, that's how it works, right? I mean, I've seen people fish before.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
and once you get the small ones that are too small to cook or anything, you just got to down them in one.
Down in one, bro.
Yep, down in one.
And when you're on that island for a few days, that it gets real fucking tasty.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
you're like, yeah, I don't like coconuts. Okay, well, if you're dehydrated, it'll be the tastiest thing you've ever drank in your life.
Yes.
You ever heard that old saying of there's a monk who was being chased by a tiger, and he had fallen off a cliff, and he was hanging by a branch. And above him was the tiger waiting, and below him was another tiger waiting. He saw a strawberry growing from the branch, so he plucked the strawberry and ate it. And it was the best tasting strawberry he ever had in his life.
But wait.
It's because
Do strawberries grow on trees?
This is a story.
I don't
But-
know. Do they grow on trees?
It's not.
I think they grow on vines, don't they, or bushes?
I was thinking vines. Like
I don't
that.
understand how someone who's a professional artist can't grasp the fact that a branch could be growing there and a vine would grow out on that branch on the cliff.
I'm a character artist.
I mean, it's very, very simple. Look, the character Poison Ivy. It's the same as that. The branch is the lady, and the strawberry plant's the poison ivy. Anyway,
But the
point
it's
is,
good
point of the
because-
story is,
Yeah.
when you're put in a desperate situation, things get a whole lot better.
You realize all the important things. I guess.
Why are we even talking about this
I don't
stuff?
know.
I think we can just like wrap us right back into that game industry action because actually I got two stupid anecdotes. One person replied to this thing saying all this show is me talking about Zelda, and the other guy not saying anything because apparently he only watched part of the first episode, which was labeled as here's an experiment to see if we can get a video online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was the total initiation episode. If you can watch that and enjoy it, that's outstanding, and I appreciate it. But we've grown so much since then that it's a totally different ballgame now, folks.
Oh yeah.
And
We appreciate his
yeah.
his critique.
And there was one other thing that I thought was really funny. Was somebody replied to one of my YouTube videos,
Uh-oh.
and it was a tutorial video, and the comment was, "Tutorial, please." Now I'm not sure if he didn't understand that the tutorial was there,
I think he was just trolling
or
you
if he.
saying that.
I think he's just having a good time. He probably just didn't pay attention, just typed it up quick and rolled out. But or is he asking for a tutorial of how I put that video on YouTube?
He said please, right? So he was
At least he was nice about it.
yeah.
No, I just thought that was silly. It was funny. Fun times.
I don't comment on anything YouTube anywhere ever.
Well, if it's my buddy's thing, maybe.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not going to like just comment on some random video that I don't even know unless I have like a really important question, but I don't even do that because I mean I could try to Google it.
Were you
and figure it out
influenced by
myself.
Santana when you came out with the guitar lick between 1.58 and 2 minutes and 2 seconds? One of the I just wanted to get to questions because we didn't do this last week just because we were just doing our character art thing with that freak behind the fur, Jesse Sosa. Hey, are you related to Sammy Sosa at all?
Nope.
Real
I was
home run
wondering
king.
Mm.
So let me see here.
Is Brian on this side of me on the video?
I'm in the center.
So he'd be the other direction.
On this side?
Yeah,
All right, I'm going to do this every time he talks.
that's funny. I like it. I like
Nice.
what you're thinking. I like the way you're going. I like what you're doing. I'd like to subscribe to your newsletter.
I'm not getting very good feedback just because the wig is in the way of these headphones.
Okay, I think I figured out one of the questions here. Unfortunately, everybody that's been submitting questions has taken the advice completely wrong. And when I said if you can get it to 140 characters, like something like an easy to understand question that we can really translate to the show, you can add more to that if you want. But give me some bullet points or something just so it's easy for the show. So instead, everybody's writing novellas and then sending them in the form of a question, which is great.
I do that same thing though.
Which is great, but
I don't blame him.
it's just it's tough for poor Jesse that then has to read through these emails. He's got a job to do. He doesn't have time to read emails his whole days. But I think this first question is I was thinking of a more useful way to give art-related advice to people that are trying to get into the industry. You should pick one artwork every podcast or so and give it crush. Oh man! So he's just asking for us to give criticism to somebody's art. Well, unfortunately, that's a bit uninitiated. It would be better if we could actually, like, I wouldn't want to go to some site and look up some art right now and be like, hey, look at this guy's shit, fuck him. He's a piece of, not like that, but it might seem odd to suddenly do a podcast about someone's art out of context.
Yeah, unless we have people sending in.
Yeah, I think that's something that we could set up in a different format too. That might be better outside of the show's format.
Yeah.
like more like a what you want to call it, like a workshop, a video workshop where you I don't know. I have no idea. We'd have to figure out something. I kind of look like Wyatt, or I'm Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
I feel like a cowboy.
Yeah, we'll brainstorm about that.
We'll figure something out.
If we have people sending in art, that would make that a lot easier.
Yeah, that would get kind of weird. I don't know. I'm going to skip this one question because it's that one about the school thing's turbo long for right now. I'm going to... If you want to, Brian... If you want to, Jesse, if you want to, Skanker Zero, which is a fun name to say. Hey, Skanker, if you want to think about any ways to get that question shortened while I talk about this next one, feel free. And I don't even know how to say this last time. I think it's French or in hell. You know that guy on Polycount, Jason Lever?
I think so, yeah.
How do you say that? I don't know how to say it. Anyway, I think I got pretty close. I nailed it. Nailed it. He sent in a question asking about... like, I recently touched on a topic about how it isn't necessary that one piece looks super amazing, but more putting the importance of the entire area as a whole, as in like the game, like the game as the project as one big piece, as opposed to you just spending so much time on one little part, and basically because it makes the whole environment more instead of one piece environment look great. But he was also touching more on the fact that he noticed that I had been more or less lately focusing more on
gameplay and
I was just thinking about seeing if there's a way. It's getting a little windy sometimes, Jess. But
sorry.
I don't know if there's a particular way to fix that. But anyway, yeah, he's saying like a lot of the stuff I've done lately has been less art orientated and more game. Like, here's an idea for a game, and it being like I don't really polish the art a lot. But one way I would answer that would be a lot of that stuff you see is there's a lot of placeholder going in there because more of my time is being spent on actually making a level of the game itself. Because I like making games, I like video games, like making games. Mm-hmm. So I want to figure out gameplay and stuff like that before the art, because art for me is like once the gameplay is pretty rock solid, you can start polishing art. But however, in addition to that, I mean, it's like a chef going home and cooking, man. I do art all day at work. What, I gotta come home and do more? Yeah. It's a lot of people do, and I do all the time. But it seems like in the last year or so, I've just been thinking more about how powerful the tools are that are out there now, and how I don't want to waste my time just making one piece of art that's going to be outdated within just a few years anyway. So why not just make a little game? Like just making games is fun to me. So I'm trying to, more often than not, just make a game that would take 5 to 30 minutes to play through. Just simple, like one-level games. Just get them out there. And if by any sort of inclination I happen to get some great piece of art out of it, that's good, but I'm more focusing on games and games being fun than just dwelling on art all the time. I get pretty passionate about people that, for one, don't make real-time art. They do some scene and then, touch it up in some editor and render it or something. But then on top of that, it's just like, you just make people that make really awesome scenes, or like a modular set, and then that's all it is just a few beauty shots. I'm like, dude, just let me have that, and I'll run it through Unreal and Kismet and make a little fun game, like a little fun adventure level with it. And I've had people turn down that offer. I'm just send me the art, and I'll make a level, and we'll release it. It'll be fun. People turn that down. I'm like, what? Come on. Video games, people. There's a lot. Never forget the word game art in game in game art. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was trying to understand that question initially. I think I took it I took it a whole other way.
Yeah, sure. I could see that.
I thought he was talking about like when you enter a scene, you have one piece that you work on instead of everything else is just kind of taking a back seat to that one piece. But I guess you answered his question. I was just misunderstanding it, I guess.
Well, no, you got a point there too. It's
Hmm.
if all of every bit of one room should encompass that same amount of detail. I mean, it's it's real important that everything have that same pixel
Consistency.
depth
Yeah.
or texel ratio, whatever hot buzzword you like to use this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it'd be silly if everything was all pixelated and right next to it is a statue that's amazing. It would just stand out and look wrong. Those types of things,
Art for
they break the illusion.
yeah.
It's like when you see an obvious polygon or some sort of smoothing error. Oh, there we go. Sweat house,
I had to do it.
sweating like a house.
I'm gonna be doing it here in a second because this wig's getting itchy. But
You gotta wear it all night, bro.
I'm down.
On Halloween. I'm just saying. You can prepare yourself.
Oh, yeah,
You kind of
yeah,
look
yeah,
like
yeah.
Elvis. You kind of look like over the top redneck Elvis.
Okay.
Possibly lesbian Elvis.
Awesome.
Southern lesbian. They all have mullets down there. It's weird. But that's a super long mullet too.
Are
That's
girls
perfect.
attracted to lesbian Elvis?
I don't know.
I'm nervous now. It's all right.
Lesbian Elvis. What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Why did I come up with that?
I'm just hoping the rest of my costume is good enough
Okay.
to draw the ladies in. But
Well, you're not going to be classy as me, young man, but
of course.
but you got the look.
I've
You
got
the
a
look.
Mississippi mud flap.
It is what it was called. The brand name of the wig is Mississippi Mud Flap. That's hilarious.
Okay, actually, again, and now that I reread his question again, no, yeah, it is a two-part question. It is kind of worded oddly, but the first part,
He might be from Canada.
yeah, I think so. The first part is, yeah, basically asking how to make a great feeling game environment. In my opinion, a lot of that has to do with mood and in terms of lighting. I think lighting is really what nails down your game environment.
It's a big part. I know it's what I like about dark, moody lighting. Like I like to put in like really dark settings and a lot of like a dark fog that makes everything fade out, and like really slow moving smoke particles that just kind of sit
Yeah.
over the. And the whole point of this is to hide all my shitty art. I call it the the Quake effect. Like a Quake looks
Yeah.
so cool because it's all dark, but you look at it as it's pretty funny when I go to ModDB or something and browse mods. I'll see a Quake mod screenshot. And I was like, oh, is that a Minecraft screenshot? No, oh no, because now it's just boxes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, a large part of that is just having an actual lighter position in your team as someone that can work in iteration with the art team, because there's a lot of time that can be wasted on set pieces that are further back. If you spend all this time, ZBrushing out all these nice walls and stuff, and then once you put it in and they get the final lighting, you notice that you can't
Totally
even see it.
different,
Yeah.
Dude, that lighting team is so important if you can work back and forth with them. There was one of
Yeah.
those documentaries on Dead Space 2. There was just a whole talk with just the lighting team. It was like 6+ guys making just lighting for that game, and the lighting in this is phenomenal. It's fantastic. It's a great example of good moody lighting. Almost every light kind of does something in the sense that it either adds obviously in all positive ways to the mood and atmosphere, but like they'll have like a little shimmer or flicker. There's something going on about every light. There's some point of interest to them, and that stuff makes such a huge effect. And God, just imagine.
Lighting in game engines is a lot of fun. I never liked lighting within 3D applications such as Max or Maya. Lighting within those applications has always seemed really difficult to me. I don't know what it is, but lighting within a game engine is so much easier. You just drag a light out and then
It's like,
adjust
there's
it.
a light.
Yeah.
Yeah, being
Everything's
able to
all
work in
set
real
for
time is
you.
pretty nice.
At least the game engines that I've worked in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CryEngine 3
Yeah,
and
that's
nothing
what I
else.
was gonna say.
Someone's fancy.
Yeah, Mr. Fancy Pants over there with his mud
with
flap.
with my Mississippi mud flap.
Nice mullet, bro.
But yeah, I think lighting can really make an environment or break it. I mean, if you have great lighting, you should be able to just have boxes and proxy boxes that look awesome.
Pretty much. I know there's been a bunch of times where you call it the old proof of concept, where you just throw in some basic shapes and colors
Yeah.
and some basic light to your standard mood lighting, and that should look pretty cool. And if it doesn't, then it's not going to look cool later. So
Yeah. No, that's very true. I mean, just look at like games like Minecraft. I've seen some screenshots from Minecraft that look really nice, and it's just because they lit it very well.
yeah, there's some I've seen plenty of times in Minecraft. I'm just like, oh my god, look at this.
Dude, I'm really glad that they upped their the lighting in Minecraft, because like I
Yeah,
remember
that
when
new
I
upgrade is
very
pretty
very
sweet.
first got it, my eyes would literally hurt because you'd be digging a long tunnel for a long time, and so it'd go really really dark, and then you'd set a torch, and then it'd go really really dark, and you'd set a torch, and it was just
Yeah,
that going from like bright white to black that quick
they've leveled it out
for
pretty
a
nicely.
long
now.
long time. It's it hurts the eyes. So yeah, it's looking really good. Oh my gosh, I want to play that game so bad, but it would not be a good idea right now.
Get stuff to do, bro.
Yeah.
I've been playing it a lot. I'm stupid. I actually posted a guide on Polycount in the Minecraft thread of how to my legit get to the end guide, which basically tells all the stuff you have to do. It's a total waste of time. Just like I stated in my last Minecraft video, I said of the village, I go flying up and I say something like, I don't know why I did this. It's a waste of time. It's stupid.
I've never played it.
It's just for me. It's just good therapy. It's like when I'm feeling like whatever, I'll just play this game a lot. It makes me feel
I would
creative.
suggest to not play it.
Yeah. It's legit
Not that
virtual, virtual Legos. It's the real deal. And when you hop on a server and you're playing with all your friends, building crap, especially when you have like some creative mode, and there's no limits to your creativity. It's pretty ridiculous what you can build.
It is pretty fun. If you do decide to play it, get like 30 of your friends to buy the same game, and then all get on the same server. Did we just lose him?
Yeah, Jesse just popped out for a second there. It says I got an internet connection.
I was giving you
problem.
advice.
It says I got an internet connection problem. He's just mad about hearing all that Minecraft. Hey, there's my Skype icon. Check it out. What's this? It's so silly. It's so old too.
I need to make a GIF for my Twitter account. I didn't know that Twitters play GIFs. That's
Like it's
pretty cool.
animated?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I saw some dude he was a comedian and he had it set up to where he would update the GIF every now and again for his tour dates.
Okay.
And it would just cycle through like his picture, then like his tour dates or something.
Oh, that's pretty.
I'm
cool.
like, you.
I was thinking about doing the troll walk, because that's like.
Oh, that troll walk.
Yeah, with the feet way out in front of him.
It says Jesse's offline right now. Yeah, it's Skype. It happens before. We'll get him back here in a second. I need to fix my chair. It's squeaking, and I didn't know that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we're back. Jesse lost a little the internet. Basically, it's it's a series of tubes, and we're sending too much information back and forth, and they got clogged up, and so that was that. But he's back now. And we're here with the future.
Back with vengeance.
And we had time to analyze some of these questions. These complicated questions that actually have no question in the question, which is weird. But check this out. So what it came down to is this guy is asking about best practices. We found out after we sent this one to the lab, and the scientists had a few hours with it. So yeah, we're just narrowing it down to the concept of what are the best practices in art production. Generally, for the guys are starting off, they don't know how to save out their files a certain way or whatever. So yeah, you can lead us into that, Jesse, because I know you're kind of on top of this.
Well, basically here he does talk about doing real-time renders, linking file pathways properly, and all that stuff. So what I took from this question is how to create clean files, what to look out for. I will have to say most files that I see from noobs and people that don't have too much experience in the game industry, it's just naming conventions first and foremost. You got to figure out that naming convention and stick with it. So if you're going to be naming your 3D Max file after the character, say for instance, okay, we'll start with a folder structure. You'll want to set up your folder structure. Obviously, when you're at a studio, your folder structure is different depending on what studio you're on, what kind of game engine you're using. But it is good to reduce redundancy throughout your folder structures. So, for instance, if I'm making, let's go back to Ghostbusters. We had a Ghostbuster folder. We just called it GB, and that's where we were saving out all the Ghostbuster meshes. Within that Ghostbuster folder, we had folders for Ray, Egon, Winston, and who am I
Churchill.
Churchill, right? No. Well, anyways, Venkman. There we go.
Yeah.
Venkman. We had a folder for each character, and within that folder, we had their heads. We had another folder for just the body, because in the engine, we were combining the two together.
I've seen that before. Yeah.
So within, let's say, for instance, the Egon folder. So you go Ghostbusters, then you go Egon. Within that Egon folder is the head. Well, there's no reason to name the file Egon because you're inside the Egon folder. So in there, you just want to specifically call out head.max or head.ma or MB or whatever you're using. That way, in case, say, for instance, his I don't know, his glasses are in a separate 3D file, you can name glasses.max.ma, and they're all held within the Egon folder. The same goes with your textures as well. You just want to kind of avoid the redundancy because a lot of people don't realize that the path name is the full path of your asset. So it's GB, / Egon / head. That's the actual path name, not just head. And so oftentimes you run into these huge path names, or programmers will come down on you because you got like Ghostbuster, / GB / GB _ Egon / and you just get this huge just redundancy in there. So you want to minimize the amount of characters you use.
We've actually ran into this problem before with art production where I forget if it was Xbox or PlayStation 3 or just both of them. They have a limit to the file size name, and some people like to name things really long names.
Yeah, 64 characters.
Like, why is this file? Let's just shorten it out, man. But yeah, like that was what problems we're getting back from some of our early builds. Was this thing disappears because the name is too long. It's like, God damn.
Why would you need a name that's over 64 characters?
Yeah, that's the weird thing.
Wow.
I mean, it all comes in just laying out your file structure. Like at Terminal, it went even further than that. It was source, or it was test, art, character, GB, Egon, head. That was the entire string there. So it depends on how deep you can go, but you can hit that max pretty quick. And on Star Wars, we sure did, because some of those characters have just the craziest names.
Oh God, I can just imagine.
Isn't there a file limit to how many files you can go deep within or folders? Like you can only have like a folder.
So many subfolders.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not even sure on that too. But that seems like that would be a limitation to it.
12
that would definitely be a console limitation.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't think there was one with the Infernal engine. I don't recall that, at least, because we had some pretty deep structures.
Oh wow.
Should have went deeper.
Yeah.
Got to go deeper.
A dream within a dream.
Yeah, it's a folder within a folder.
Within a dream.
So I can explore. Never mind. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that to me is like number one. That's like the first thing to show that you're organized and that you can show potential employers that you're organized, is to just really think about your folder structure. If you're ever doing an art test, make sure you have you could do your character folder, and within that folder you can have your model, your texture, and your concept folders, and then have all that stuff in there. Make sure everything's
really nice. That's great. Yeah, just because you said the concept of an art test, I'm just going to say it can help to save your name in the file name, your naming convention, whatever you want to call it. Because then you're like, who made this one? Oh, it's Ray something. Your name is right there. Very, very easy to remember. And I knew a guy. He told me this anecdote about this company he was working at. I won't name him or the company, but apparently near the end of the project, he was in trouble because they were like, you haven't done any art for this whole game. And what it was everybody on the project, the actual team members, like the same people in his team, whenever they would submit their actual art, they would put their name in the file name.
Yeah.
So it'd be like some ogre monster, Ken Pereira, whatever your name, I don't know. But it was like their name in every file. So whoever was in charge was just looking at all these files and all these names, and not having not doing their own job to the fact that they would know and remember everything they had signed throughout the development process.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him. That was just whoever was above him being not doing their job at all, being complete idiot. I'm assuming if this is even a true story, it sounds so ridiculous.
Well,
but I believe it. Why not?
I would only include my names in personal projects like artistic stuff.
Yeah, me too. I would never name it actual work file with my name because that seems ridiculous.
Yeah, there's no reason to at that point. It's not about you. There's no reason for me to name
it happens to some guy, so
it does.
It's weird.
It happens. That also goes into naming things intelligently, I guess. So going back to my Egon example, if you do have to preface a texture or a file with the character's name, be sure you put the character's name first as the prefix. So it'll be Egon_head, Egon_glasses. That way, when you sort, all Egon's textures or files or whatever, stay together. If you have to put character names or anything like that.
Yeah, it always goes from like parent to child. So like the biggest thing first, and then the next thing below that.
Yeah.
So that seems like standard common sense within the game industry. Something I
kind of picked up from the naming conventions I've seen in Unreal's content that comes with that is you can every time I set up my naming conventions, I usually do something like my initial prefix for the way that is set up in there, just for a level. I'll do like a mesh. Any model will have SM underscore at the front for static mesh.
Yeah.
Any texture file, as in the actual TGA that's imported, I'll put T underscore at the front of it. And even though these are also separated in groups in the package file on Unreal, what that does is within my folder, even if all those files are put into one folder, they're still all organized by the file type. And that is super useful for me in my own little levels, man. I love that. I even wrote a little article about it, so naming conventions. It's on my site, tutorials somewhere. It's in there. I believe it. Dude, that wig you're wearing, Brian, it makes me laugh. So I'll look at the screen to make sure everything's still running and on point. I'm just like...
Dude, this Halloween's going to be awesome.
It looks like the old... it reminds me of the old 80s hair band now. Like right now, I think of you as like that's what Pantera looked like before they got awesome. Before they changed their style and got really kick-ass. Anyway.
Let's see.
I don't know much about this, but I know we were having some problems with either PS3 or Xbox builds and capitalization of certain letters.
That's some case-sensitive
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I do remember
that.
that.
Man. You guys work with case-sensitive engines?
I don't know.
That is not cool.
I know we were having some sort of problem with, I believe it was the PS3 build because of case sensitive stuff. Like a file has to be like I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's programmer talk.
Yeah. Do you have any recommendations on what to capitalize and what not to capitalize? Just keep.
Well, Infernal Engine, which is the engine I have the most experience with, Infernal was not case sensitive at all. But we would do it for the riggers. Well, on my side, when I would do left and right, the L or the R was always capitalized, just so you can see it clearly.
Oh, yeah, that's really nice for that particular reason.
For animators, it's nice.
Yeah,
we would capitalize certain portions, so say torso, had a capital T, and just sense. Little things like that. It just
sometimes
helps.
like to caps that first word, it just makes it stand out better. Makes it sometimes easier to read in a big list.
Yeah.
Let's see here. A couple other things.
I was going to talk about some Mac specific stuff, just really quick.
Go for it.
I was just going to throw out that whole idea if you're working in Max, and it's the same way in Maya because Max has like collapsing your modifier stack or reset X forms, going into the hierarchy tab and resetting your pivots, or just making sure your pivots at a good spot. Especially if you're doing modular sets, making sure it's where your pillar is going to be either in the center, which is perfect for rotating, or maybe you want something to be on the corner so you can snap it to a grid. Who knows? But in Maya, what was that called again? Because we used to do this all the time. Reset history or delete history?
Yeah. Delete history and deleting or resetting your transforms or zeroing out your transforms.
Zeroing transforms, yeah. You used to always have to do that as you're working on your, these are just things you kind of keep doing as you're working on it because they will mess up something else. If you have something in max and you scale it some certain amount, and then as it's positioned around other meshes, it won't render properly unless you reset it because it's scaling. I don't know how to explain what it's doing, but it's all F'd in the A.
Yeah.
So that's just really awesome to be sure and just kind of keep doing every now and again. But you don't have to collapse your modifier stack, particularly if you have like something set up like a procedural high detail rock that has an awesome set of displacements that are all dynamic. I don't know what you're working on. Don't get mad at me.
Resetting X-form doesn't affect the pivot at all, does it?
No.
Okay.
It's mostly reset X-forms is for any sort of rotation or movement or scaling. Just resets it flat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it won't move the pivot, but it will align it with the world.
Yeah, if your pivot is locally like rotated weird or something, and you reset X-forms, it pops right.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So that's
that
really
can
useful.
suck. That can suck because when you're doing, like droids with Grievous, for instance, I had all his pivots all set up, locally, and then I had to reset X-forms because I had to go in there and transform the mesh. So it was just a pain in the ass. You have to get helper objects and align them, then redo all your pivots when you're done.
Golly.
That sucks, and that's a lot of pivots of it too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
When I work on something like a really huge piece, a lot of times if I haven't already collapsed it, I'm working in like one section of it. Like I'll detach an object just so you don't have to have this whole thing you're trying to work with. And if you do this, I was going to say for pivot, it's really useful if you have like a piece or just a default piece that you can leave floating as your correct pivot that you can reattach everything to.
Yeah.
And always remember to reattach what has the right pivot, because that helps me out a lot. It's like I've been working on some very high, very large like background structures, and I'll just separate just one piece out of it, like detach one little object, just so I can isolate it and kind of rotate around just it instead of having this giant freaking whole world I'm working on. But yeah, you save that pivot point and reattach to whatever had it, and that saves me a lot of time.
I do that too. The other little thing that I guess people that are new to it don't really realize is, wow, I just forgot.
Dude, it's the heat, dude.
Wow.
I used to do that all
Heat
the
of the
time.
suit. You're going to lose so much weight tonight?
Yeah.
I just blacked out on that. Okay, we're talking about pivots.
Yes.
I know that.
Does it have to do with that? Or?
Yes, no, it did. Oh, man, I'm just going to have to come back to it.
Oh, that's cool.
That's fine. I used to do
Holy
that
crap.
all the time. That's why we were talking about earlier about how the first couple CrunchCasts, like, they obviously weren't that great because they're the first ones.
Right.
But, I mean, just getting that whole setup and everything. Like, I just
getting
remember,
cameras to point at people and having them on screen and then that all being uploaded.
Dude, I blacked out a lot, too. I did the same thing he did a lot. I mean, I still do it. But.
Oh, I got it. I had to take off the headphones and think. It's the tip I was going to give
You had to look
was
up
if you
and to the right.
if you are mirroring your geometry and all that, basically what you want to do to keep you from having to reset your X-forms is to select the original geometry that you're mirroring from and attach at that point, because they will inherit the X-forms of whatever it is that you're attaching from.
Oh, okay.
Whatever it's getting attached to. I'm sorry, that makes more sense. That's another one too. Because if you mirror an object, you're going to get all the normals are going to be wrong and stuff like that. So if you take that
Always flips them, yeah.
Yeah, if you take the correct one, the one that you mirrored from, and use that as your base and source object to attach, it should realign all the normals. You don't have to reset the X-forms.
Hooray!
Let's see.
And if not, you just throw a normal modifier on it and hit the showers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one, normal modifier. And hey, if you're going to get rid of some edges or something, you hold control and hit backspace, gets rid of the verts too.
Mm-hmm.
Science. I posted that like years ago in some thread where somebody's asking some question, and I just randomly threw it in there, and I got like 4 or 5 replies like, "Oh my god!" Holding control while hitting backspace, I never knew.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you hit,
And that's max.
yeah, in max. And if you hold control, if you got like a polygon selected in polygon mode, and you hold control and click vert mode, it'll select all those verts.
Yeah, that helps.
That's really useful. There's it's weird about all those little things that, like I've been using max professionally, I would say since Max 5, maybe 4. Actually, no, it goes way back because I remember it was like Max 3 R2 or something. I don't even remember.
Oh, I hated R2.
Anyway, there's all these things that you've learned over the years that you can forget about, and then you see somebody modeling, you know, oh, hey, you know about blank? And they're like, what? I didn't know this feature existed in Max. I'm like, yeah, it's been there since ever.
Yeah.
And like a tool like Max is so huge, and there's so many features that the more you can read tricks and tips on it, the better. Because there's so much. And there's no way I could even think of them all, because I've been using it for so long that I'm so detached from these basic concepts that could really help somebody that it's very difficult to even remember them sometimes. They're just things I just do naturally now, like subconsciously. I just click. Like I use all my hotkeys for everything. Like I use a Q, just default hotkeys in Max. I use like Q, W, E, R just to switch between
move,
the modes. Yeah,
select, move, rotate.
Yeah. It's in scale, rotate, and stuff, and then like 1, 2, 3, 4 to go between the polygon modes, and you get control right there, and shift for you like shift drag to copy. You got all. I mean, it's all right there, man. Control Z.
I hate the weird ones that are like Control O or something. Like,
yeah,
but that's like open, I guess.
You know,
I found some. That's a bad example, but I found some weird ones where it's like Control and then something like in the center up at the top.
Well, it's weird, but it's like 3 or 4 keys. You're like, oh no.
Yeah,
ZBrush.
You're like,
that's ZBrush right there.
Yeah.
Hit Control, click off your mesh, hit Control, hit the left mouse button, let go of Control, rotate, and it's just. I hate ZBrush.
I remember doing stuff like that. It was freaking crazy. Yeah, I didn't like ZBrush.
You know, one of my old favorite hotkeys from Maya was spacebar, which would whatever window you were in, it would maximize or go back down to minimize to go back to your 4 window or whatever setup you had.
Yeah.
But every time I switched to Max, I always have to set up that key by the shortcut
is Alt
by
W.
default is Alt W. Yeah. But I just like spacebar for that, and normally that locks your selection. Which, as a guy that used to use Maya for years, I'm always like, why am I locking my models? and apparently, when I'm using the Crytek editor, I keep freezing shit all the time by accident because there's a hotkey that I even forget what it is. Probably just like F.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something silly like that to freeze the model, and I'm always doing that because I'm used to. I either accidentally hit one key or it's. I think the transition from Maya to Max, all the hotkeys for Maya automatically crash Max because that was my first experience.
Automatically crash Max.
Yeah, that was my first experience when I switched up to the different tools.
Well, I remember, I think it was Max 3 R2. If you clicked all 3 mouse buttons at once, it would just exit.
Nice.
It would just crash, hard crash.
Do you use Maya a lot, right, Jesse?
I used to, not like a lot. Like I wouldn't model in it, but I would do very basic things in Maya, and I would, I'd get all the outsourcing stuff and have to send it through Maya to the character artists and stuff like that. I'm a Max guy.
Okay, cool. One of my, I hear this a lot, and I don't know why I'm bringing it up, but because I know I'm probably just going to get trolled on it, but one of the biggest things that I really don't like about Maya is I don't like that they don't have an orthographic view, and I don't know if they've updated that within the most recent one or the.
I'm pretty sure they got that.
They do now.
'Cause I worked in Maya for a few years.
They have this one.
I think you're thinking
they have
of
an orthographic
Engine 3.
camera. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I can't even remember
orthographic
if there was anything weird about it or not. You know what I liked about Maya was how real time the editor always looked too.
Yeah.
Like I could set up a scene. Well, this was back when I was working on PS2, shit like that. But I could set up a scene in Maya and light it in there, and it would look exactly like it would look like on screen, pretty much.
But they have a real nice high quality render. Can't render what you call it worth a shit. It's really nice though.
What did you say? You can't render what? Trans what?
Transparencies or something?
Did I cut out?
Just for a second.
Yeah. I was saying they have a real nice high quality renderer, a real time renderer. It's just their transparencies always sucked. I think they finally got around to fixing it, but for the most part, it's always sucked.
And Ready at Dawn has that pretty sweet engine using Maya in real time. That's all for like PSP. So it made no money. I always wondered, why would you do that? I'm going to make an engine for PSP.
Well, maybe it got
Just-
funded by someone.
Yeah, I know, right? They did. They got a lot of money from somewhere.
All right, let's see. Some more tips for this guy. How about keeping a clean material editor as well?
Oh yeah, that's material. You're talking about a Max, right?
Yeah, and
The
Max.
material editor can get dirty real easy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and if you've had like objects and stuff hidden in there, make sure you unhide all your objects. Make sure you delete
Yes.
everything. Make sure the final stuff is just the model that counts. But nothing's worse than trying to open someone's Max file and just getting all those errors that things aren't pathed right.
Here's just a
Missing
quick tip on
textures.
that. If you have a scene, like, it can be sloppy while you're working all you want, but you want to hook somebody up with the scene, or you want to submit it as an official file for work or something, you can select the specific object or objects, export selected, the one where you where you save it as a Max file, save selected.
Yeah,
that's
save
what I meant.
selected.
And then when you do that to a new file, you open up the material editor, it'll be blank, it'll be clean slate material editor. Then you go into the eyedropper and then click on whatever, the model, and it'll give you, boom, just that one. You have a totally clean material editor with just the material for whatever you selected there. And I've used that on plenty of times just to separate a file out, or just organize or clean up if something's really nasty from somebody, or whatever.
Yeah. Keep your layers clean. Name them all. Obvious names.
Hey, and use layers.
Name them.
Use
Yeah.
the layers. It's so awesome. It's such a great function.
When you're working on environment stuff, yes,
Just like
layers are
Photoshop,
so
man.
important.
Except it's not like multiply and overlay. It's just another way to organize, man. You got to use layers. UDK has layers too. They used to call them groups in the older versions. Now they're called layers because everybody calls it layers.
Yeah.
Gotta love them layers, man. And even in Photoshop, man, name your layers.
Yeah.
Name
I'm
them.
guilty of not doing that.
Name them and group them.
Yeah.
And some of I learned so much working with the Art Bully, because those guys for outsourcing, they would submit the most beautiful PSD files. And these were organized so clean. It was just like normal spec, diffuse, just groups, right? And you'd open up these groups and they'd have more layers. Like the diffuser had like color and AO shading, and everything was so broken up so nicely that it was organized and named properly, so that if there was any part of the texture that you needed to make an adjustment for the game or whatever down the road, it was just right. You could find it instantly. So as far as outsourcing goes, that was so useful, and I have so much respect for that from them. And since then, I always name my PSDs just as organized. Even for my own files, I'm like, I gotta have these in groups because I love it so much. It's just so nice to open up a clean ass PSD, man.
Yeah,
Oh God.
I need to practice that. I get carried away sometimes, and then I work so fast that I just keep making layers. And
I do the same thing so much. I understand completely.
I try.
What I try to do is get them set up at first, get the group set up first, just so I can kind of keep them together, and then organize them later.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at least I've got to start.
Yeah.
When it's just you working, it's
Yeah, when it's just your own, who cares?
yeah.
It's just a good practice.
Yeah. And naming is important because name them correctly.
Like layers are like layer
Yeah.
185, copy of layer 96.
Yeah. I mean, to name them correctly is great, but to just name them anything is good too. I mean,
You know what's really fun? Here's a good prank. I might even mention this on the show before. You want to get some water, Brian?
no, I'm all right. I was thinking.
It's okay,
about it.
baby.
I'm gonna go get some water. It's okay, baby.
It's so dumb. Anyway, a good trick to do at work is when a guy's working on a Photoshop file, when they're taking a break, like they get up and walk away from their computer, just run over really quick and make a new layer, and then paste like a penis in there. Or draw a dick, draw a dick or something. You do it really quick, and then just hide that layer deep in that file, and then see how long it takes them to find it. We used to do this to Douglas Schuler, the famous Magic the Gathering artist, all the time. He's like such an adult, like regular guy that's not into like craziness and pranks.
Dude, I can't imagine what those Magic the Gathering files are like. Because did he actually paint the?
Those would probably be just like straight up painted
Yeah.
all the way. Like,
They're
it
painted
might
really
be like
high
one.
res.
Like some of his early stuff was probably just like one layer.
I'd
Until he got
have-
into separation and stuff. I don't even know. I don't understand his process at all. Actually, I think he lives in Boulder. I should get him up here.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Get that motherfucker. Come over here, Doug. Dude, Doug's so awesome. So good. And I can say all this because I've hired him and I've worked, on my own project. I've worked with him before. I respect the guy a ton. He's just sit right next to him and just watch him pencil out amazing things. It's like, God damn. But that guy needs to update his website. As long as I've known him, his website was like, update coming soon. Like, you motherfucker. You're like Rockstar's tutorial section. That website's been up since like 2004, and that tutorial section has said coming soon, like for almost 10 years.
You know,
I'm exaggerating.
I've heard some stories about, like, I don't know if it's exactly Magic the Gathering cards, but cards that are similar to those, like either if they're online or like literally printed. But sometimes like people just take screenshots from like a scene of a movie and like literally just trace over that. Just
oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, it happens all the time apparently.
Well, I'm sure with
that's
the
how
deadlines
most
it probably
art is
hit.
done.
Yeah. And it's not that there's any. I mean, as long as you're what is it, 60%? As long as you're changing 60% of it, it's not copyright infringement or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I do characters, I like to model the characters and then rig the characters, and then like pose them. When I do 2D characters, I like to do them in 3D first, pose them, and then trace them, because then I can get the exact composition, the perfect angle, all the perspective is done for me. And I can always go back and repose that character.
Well, if you take the next level beyond general theft for reference, which is okay, but one of the really good things they go over in very well detail in that making of that Blizzard, that Diablo 3 video, they show those guys like referencing everything. Like they referenced everything. Like, they took pictures of so much stuff that you couldn't even imagine, like all these different facial expressions, and they did lighting tests and everything where the person, like you remember when the girl was when it showed the close up of the hand writing down the stuff.
Yeah,
they showed what that was. They actually had that scroll printed up legit, and they had a person. All the lighting and everything was done legit like a movie, and they had the person just tracing the lines.
I see.
And they had filmed that like over and over, and then like used like graphics to remove the paper, then remove the pen, just so they could see the hand, just so they could see the fingers moving, so you could see all the little nuances. And they did that for everything in that trailer.
Man, that just sounds so redundant.
Yeah.
God,
But it's Blizzard,
just
dude.
make a movie.
Blizzard just gets iterations. That's the amazing thing about those guys. Is if you work at Blizzard, you're going to be working on a game for fucking 37 years.
Yeah.
But you're going to get to make so many iterations of it that it's going to be perfect. And it's not going to come out until it's perfect. And they've done tons of games. There's been a bunch of games that have been in development at Blizzard that just you never heard anything about because they're just like, it's just not perfect, and they just redo it. Or they just, StarCraft Ghost is a good example. It went from studio to studio, and they were never like, it's just not good enough, and they just gone.
I can kind of understand that because that trailer was
amazing.
Freaking amazing.
But when you got the money, man, when you get the money to be the best, you can only give out the best.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's kind of what makes it a little unredundant, in my opinion. But
it's like all those, like all that Gears of War art dumps that came recently. I mean, those are like, all that shit's like top level stuff, man. And those guys got a lot of time to work on that. This is because that's what they have to do. It has to be the best because Epic is a company that's all about being the top level and selling game engines and making, like saying, look, here's our engine, look how good it looks. It's the art and the technology. But if they weren't pushing art, it would just look stupid. It would look like, when you see some asshole be like, I'm working on an engine, and it's just like some fucking boxes with a normal map, shitty ass shit on it, and it's like, it looks stupid. But if he had the same caliber art in there, people would be singing a different story. Mm-hmm. It'd be totally, but still. You can't compete with like an engine that they have, man. Their engine's just so high level.
Dude, I don't even know what epic means anymore because...
but the internet fucked that word.
Yeah.
But the company...
What the hell?
I mean the company. When I say epic, I only mean the company because I'll usually... I'll do my best to never use the word epic outside of saying epic, the company that makes Unreal.
No,
because the internet ruined that word.
An epic poem is like literally a novel as thick as one of these Graham Hancock books, and it's like just a brilliant story, and it can never be duplicated. Completely original. Thick. That's what an epic means.
Yeah.
So, But I guess we're getting to that.
Well,
point
people
in time
abuse
where-
words, and I don't know why we're going into this whole concept, but people abuse words. And Louis C.K. has a great bit on it in his stand-up special called "Hilarious."
Oh yeah.
He said he has this bit where he basically says he overheard these two guys say, "Oh," and I won't do his bit the way he does it because it's way funnier. I'll just give you this skinny. He overhears two guys at a coffee shop and say, someone says, "Oh, I heard from so and so today," and the other guy goes, "Oh, that's hilarious." And Louis like, "No, it isn't. Do you know what hilarious means? Hilarious means you almost died because something you saw or heard was so funny that you couldn't stand up. You laughed so hard that you stopped breathing, and you got to the end." Yeah, that's people like to. The lexicon of the common person today is so limited that all they know is the grandest concept of vernacular. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you like how I said that?
Yeah, it was good.
It was stupid because I
Some good
paused.
words.
But no, there's better words for everything.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say, "Oh, how was that?" It was okay. I had a good time.
Yeah.
I was there and I enjoyed myself, and I thought it was a pretty good movie. As opposed to come out, "Yo, dude, it's fucking epic. LOL, it's the best fucking movie ever. Holy shit." You can say things are okay. That's okay.
Actually, some of that can actually be applied to one of my beefs. It's game score reviews. It's like, oh, you have to score 7 or higher on a 10-point scale in order to be good.
Game ratings make no sense, man. Look, an average
They're bought, aren't they?
an average on 1 to 10 is a 5.
Yeah.
Most games are a 5. And when I say most games, I mean most games.
Yeah.
Like, most games are average games.
Mm-hmm.
Look, they were better than games last year, or games last generation, or games back on the NES, or games on the Atari. If you were playing the Atari, and then all of a sudden you played any Xbox 360 game, you would write a review comparable to the reviews people give. Like, people are like, "Oh, it's so amazing. Oh, it's fucking 9."
Yeah.
No, it's just it's an average game for today. It's okay. It's a good game. If you play this game, you'll have a good time because it's a good game. But it's not exploding the world.
Yeah.
Well,
I think game reviewers are a little too, I don't know,
Paid?
quick to give out the 9s.
It's all about how much money you give them.
Yeah,
Bro. You know.
yeah,
you
it's
know.
true.
You've been around long enough. You know.
Yeah.
well, a lot of people don't.
You better
understand-
send me a fucking T-shirt and a free copy, or fuck you.
A lot of people just don't understand the basic grading scale of certain things. Like students in schools should be passing with C's. A majority of the students in schools should be passing with C's. But teachers tend to give out more A's, and whereas really,
You're talking about art school, not like...
no, I'm talking about in general.
Just
In
high
general,
school.
people should be graduating with C's because that's the average. Of course, there's going to be the few at the top that will graduate with A's, and they had to work really hard to get those A's. There's going to be the people at the bottom who probably still worked really, really, really hard, and they got F's because that's just the way that the grading curve, there shouldn't really be a grading curve. It should just be. That's why kids aren't challenged. I think because the grading scale is just of everything. It's
These
just messed
fucking
up.
kids.
Yeah.
And then that goes and applies right into game reviews because people have, I guess the course of their early years, they've been hammered that 70 and higher is good, and so that just applies to game reviews. And I really hate that.
Dude, I had to
Yeah.
do. I was judging some contest for some Unreal level shit, and I actually felt bad because your fucking hair, Brian, dude. I'm sorry.
No, it's great. It's great. I'm so excited for Halloween.
I almost felt bad because I was giving things like a 1 to, I said, "What do we do this on?" It's like a 1 to 5 scale. So I'm like, all right, and I had to give things like a 2 or a 1 because they were below average, and by average I mean like there was one of the categories was optimization, and this one particular level it just wasn't really optimized very well. It was, you could see everything popping in and out, or like a lot of things wouldn't even stop rendering even though you're in different areas, and it just just below average. It wouldn't have passed. It was non-passable optimization. So I'm like, yeah, it's like a fucking 2. But it almost felt like I was doing something wrong because of the way like game reviews and scores. Like people are trying to be so positive, and like, yeah, you got to be positive about things that are good, and you try to be positive to people overall. But at the same time, you still have to be honest so that they can move forward and evolve and understand it. And you explain. You don't just say terrible next. Yeah. I fully explained like in a little short paragraph of exactly what gave it that reason. I'm like, if it was average, everything would have worked. If it was above average, it would have worked and been like, wow, this is screaming. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And that's exactly what I was saying with everything earlier. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad I was able to conclude that.
Yeah, because you made it sound a lot better than I did.
Well, no.
Me over here with my mullet.
I was referring to a Mississippi mud flap. It's just a different anecdote. It's just a different way of saying it. And our one homie James, he was teaching. He was a professor down at AI, and didn't he have to fail like everybody but 2 people or something?
Yeah, because he actually followed the way that grading should.
And he felt really bad. But the simple fact was, most of these people just did. Literally, most of his students did not even turn in assignments.
Yeah, he shouldn't have felt bad. That's what I'm saying.
That's why
he shouldn't have felt bad.
Yeah, he shouldn't feel bad.
Those people.
They didn't even do the work. They didn't even do the assignments. What's that all about, kids?
I don't know.
Everyone wants to make games.
These assignments are art related.
You know what's weird about that is I can say the same thing about so many people, because I know so many people that want a game job and don't do anything. Like how many MFers just even on Polycount they're like, I can't get a job. And I know a guy that's posting in threads right now complaining about not being able to get a job, and he ain't posted shit that ain't dick.
Yeah.
And doesn't have anything, and doesn't have a portfolio, doesn't have nothing. And I'm like, come the fuck. No, seriously. I'm like, come the fuck on, dude. How can you say that, the industry's like screwing me over when you aren't working your ass off? It's not riding a bike. You don't like, I can do this next month, no big deal. You got to keep pushing yourself, man. It's hard. It's really hard, man. Like,
it's pretty competitive.
The competitive thing is one thing, but it's constantly evolving. Remember when normal maps came out?
Yeah.
If you didn't figure that shit out, good luck with you.
Yeah, well, I mean, looking back on the competitive nature of things, if you don't keep up, there's going to be, a whole handful of artists that definitely are.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's 1 billion kids being born in China right now that are better at you. I mean, it's ridiculous. And you better hope you can call on your experience to get a nice enough paycheck to eat.
Yeah. It's if anything, that teacher was doing our industry a big service by flunking those that just don't do work.
Yeah. He's one of the good things I'll say about old James is he's got a good head on his shoulders for basic morals.
Yeah.
As far as basic morals go, he's got a good head on his shoulders. So
it's really sad. I wish a lot of the other teachers did that. You know what? The reason why I think a lot of the instructors don't do that is because it's actually pretty difficult to fail a student. I'm pretty sure. I mean, you have to give reasons. Then you always get complaints from them. I mean, it's probably pretty stressful to just fail someone instead of just pass them. So
yeah.
Well, yeah, because you're negatively impacting someone's life at this point.
Yeah,
which is really a result of their own work or lack of work, but at the same time.
Well, depending on the school as well, it could also reflect poorly on the teacher, because all they care about is how many students passed your class. If they see everyone's flunking, then they can only assume that you're not teaching them.
Yeah.
Isn't that why the No Child Left Behind Act is so terrible?
Oh, I hate that.
It's like ridiculous. It doesn't, like, whoever thought of this has no. Actually, what they do is they're really smart because they wanted to set up the system to screw people, and that's what it's really all about. They're smart in that way. It is just such a messed up system that literally takes money away from schools that don't pass students.
Yeah.
So what that means is if you've got like some group of people, and who knows what your situation is, if you're living in poverty, then it's going to be very difficult to get your child the proper education they need. And so the result is you got an overcrowded classroom full of kids that are just like things are harder for people that are in a harder situation, more difficult situation where they're more poor, bad environment. Who knows what's going on in their life? But what happens is when you punish someone, you're punishing the kids for not achieving as much as kids who have more resources available to them. If you're a kid that's going to the best school, you got parents, they got money, and they're able to afford things like computers and all this stuff, you have so much more positive stimulation in your life that you're going to get better results overall. So the fact that they're punishing kids because their environment is tougher, it's harder on them, that's literally one of the most racist things ever passed.
Yeah.
And by that, I am exaggerating because there's been way more racist things passed than that. Like the blue laws and stuff, or what were those called? Anyway. Right after slavery, where if a black guy looked at a white woman, he was arrested. Anyway, ridiculousness. Yeah. But it's a racist law. I mean, if you really think about it, right? Why are we talking about politics?
I don't know. I'm all sad and stuff now.
But to me, that stuff is so messed up. And if you really look at a lot of that political stuff, it's aimed at fear and racism. Like any sort of immigration law, any of the anti-gay stuff. If that stuff is it prying your attention? It's prying your attention from an actual issue. It's a fake issue invented by someone to lie to you. Something out there is gonna mess up your life, so that you don't pay attention to the fact that, I don't know, they're stealing your money, or farmers are, being sued for growing food. All kinds of ridiculous. It's real. There's all kinds of ridiculous issues that are out there that they're just drawing your attention to. And I tell you what, when I want to see when I want to be entertained, I want to see, I wonder what they're lying to us about now. I just cut on the news. Yep.
Oh.
There you go.
Well.
And everybody knows that shit's real. Look at all the Occupy Wall Street shit right now, man.
Now I need to drink.
I tell you what. Dark. That is some dark shit. That's why we don't normally talk about shit like that. And I'm sorry for bringing it up, but it's a real issue. And sometimes I got to think about real issues. And, one of the issues that I'd like to get into is, remember that one episode where we did Crazy Talk?
Yeah.
What I call Crazy Talk is when I talk about ideas that aren't of the norm.
Mm-hmm.
I've been writing a lot, and I've been reading a lot.
And he's also taking Alpha Brain.
Yeah, I'm taking the Alpha Brains. And I'm up there, folks. I'm on the next level. But I've had a lot of hard family issues, too. I've got some stuff I've been trying to get done, and I haven't been able to work, at my proper capacity all last week, because there's just some family issues going on right now, and it's unfortunate. But, I'm not going to talk about any of that. So, point is, I got a lot on my mind. I've been thinking about a lot of things. And, one of the issues I thought about was life after death. And I don't really want to get into it so much because we're kind of close to the end. No, we got plenty of time.
No, yeah.
How you feeling, Jess? You getting tired over there, sweetie?
No, it's 1 in the morning, but I'm doing fine. I just started thinking about all that stuff that you just started talking about.
It can bring you down, right?
Yeah,
it is unfortunate.
Yeah. Andrew's still in your bunny suit, so it's gotta be.
It's pretty awesome. I'm wearing 3 shirts. I'm wearing the Polycount shirt, the bunny suit, and then my normal shirt underneath it. So I look all bloated right now.
Oh, you.
It's pretty cool in here. I put it down at 72, so it's pretty all right.
So what I'm going to do instead of jumping into that topic, because it's a really good topic that I want to talk about, but I think it's just not.
It could be a whole show. I actually would love to talk about that too. That's some pretty awesome stuff.
Philosophy and life after death and whatnot.
Yeah, aliens.
Yeah,
dude,
I'd love to do a show about that because I'm so into that. I have all these books, and I'm telling you, man, I'm a nut. I'm one of those people that I don't understand anything. Mm-hmm. And by that I mean I am completely open and understanding to the fact of anyone's. You can't really say, okay, your religious belief is wrong. to anybody, right? Because there's absolutely no way that anybody here really knows what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one really knows what's going on out there in the universe. If there really is some sort of life after death, there's no way of knowing, man. And there's, like, how can someone say for sure? And if you do say, well, for sure, then you take a step back on your life.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that I come from a very religious family. I'll just go ahead and say it. My dad was a music minister. All I ever knew growing up as a kid, as well as a boat mechanic. That was his day job, because you can't make no money in church unless you're like up there high level. Music minister, Southern Baptist Church. Did a lot of preaching, so I was like leading children's choir and did like teaching in Sunday school. So yeah, I have a very deep ingrained religion. And my sister also became a missionary, and she went all over the world, like all kinds of Eastern Europe and China, all kinds of countries. And my brother-in-law is a military chaplain. So yeah, I got a religious background. Growing up in the business, that's a lot of reason why I don't think it's so square.
Yeah.
I don't think it's all the answers. I mean,
for some people, I'm sure it's great.
You know when you get hungry for food, you're hungry and you want something to eat. The higher level of starvation which you've reached when you're like really, really hungry, like, oh, I'll eat anything. You just drive right through McDonald's and get some burgers and go. But however, when you've thought about it, you're like, okay, tomorrow I want to make blank. Whatever dish you want to make, and you go to the grocery store and you buy all the ingredients and you got a good recipe and you figured it out and you make that recipe and it's pretty good and you enjoyed it, but you feel like you have some own criticism. You have some, you want to think about it more. You're like, oh, maybe I could have more of this or less of that. This would make it better. And then you remake the recipe next week, and then you keep remaking the recipe every few weeks or so because you really like it. It's one of your favorite dishes. And then, after a few months, after a few years, you perfected this recipe, and you're like, oh, this is perfect. And then you're like inviting people over for dinner, and you're cooking this recipe, and it's so good. Spirituality is a lot like that. A lot of people are starving for spirituality, especially in our society today. So whatever you throw at them, whatever easy answer you're giving somebody, you're driving right through McDonald's and you're like, do this or go to hell.
Yeah.
Follow these rules or die.
That's an interesting metaphor. Yeah.
It's, if you just need quick, easy answers, then go to McDonald's, man.
Yeah.
But
I have
you're not going to really get too far.
It's without trying to be controversial, it seems
go
to
ahead.
me that
You're a Scientologist. Let's say it.
No. I'm what you call it?
What were you born? What did your parents assign to you when you were born?
They didn't really assign anything to me, but since I'm Catholic, I'm Mexican, Hispanic, or whatever. That's
that's full
automatically Catholic.
You can't get condoms at the Catholic-run pharmacies in Mexico. You have to go to the regular pharmacies.
I basically went to Sunday school all on my own. My parents didn't really ever take me to church or anything like that. I went because all my friends went, and it was fun and doing all that. But one of the things that really started bothering me, especially once I left home and was exposed to all these different religions and going back and visiting, you realize that from the poor-ass small town that I used to live in, that all the nice houses belonged to the ministers and the pastors, and everyone else lived in poverty except for them, pretty much.
It's very the same in the Baptist community.
And I mean, yeah, the Baptist for sure. I mean, there was a Catholic church that was real popular back home, and that guy lived, a very humble life. But all the other churches, it really puts things into perspective with organized religion. And I'm very much against organized religion. I'm not against the idea or thought of a God. Maybe not necessarily the God that I was taught in church, but
it's not like a guy with a big white beard. But I think there's something out there.
Yeah, and I guess that's why I skew more towards agnostic, just because I I entertain the idea. I'd hate to live in a world where everything was black and white. You know, I'm an artist.
Absolutely.
I love color. I love black and white as well, and all the grays in between. But I love my splashes of color here and there.
Well, the concept of a black and white world reveals that there's actually no free will.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's an interesting concept. If you want to dig deep, if there really is a world where the only answers are you have to be good to get this result, or if you're bad, you do this result. When it's a very clear-cut case, to the point at which there would be a parallel universe, there was a version of you that was evil.
Yeah.
That would dictate that there is no free will. That what you do is what you do because that's who you are. And your choices are based on that universe you're living in.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I would love to believe that we can have a zombie apocalypse at some point. Just because
that's an absolutely legitimate concept. There is no way that couldn't happen, and it does happen. Actually, the apocalypse, the whole concept of the apocalypse is a local thing. What would you think? Okay, let's just say you get your house, you live in your house, whatever. All that's fine. All of a sudden, tomorrow, like overnight, the dollar. We're in America, or the USA's, not America, North and South. I'm referring to the United States. Sorry, somebody corrected me on that before. And they're right. My bad. But, okay, all of a sudden the dollar is worth nothing. All of a sudden you can't go buy food. All of a sudden your water power shuts off. And you're like in a police state, curfew and all this stuff. You only have a matter of weeks before people turn into zombies. And by what I mean by that is how long before your neighbors kill and eat your dog?
Yeah.
You have about with perishable foods, and if you really think that this isn't going to happen, then remember the South a few years ago? They stopped shipping gas to the Southeast.
I do remember that.
Yeah. And within no time, you couldn't get any gas. People couldn't even go to work. There was no gas. You go to the gas station, no gas. They just for some reason didn't ship gas there. Where I was, there was gas, and all the rest of America, United States, there was gas. But if they're not shipping items, the population is so huge. If they're not shipping items to every part of the United States at all times, then it's just a matter of days before every store is out of everything, except for the local grown stuff, which is going to be very sparse. Mm-hmm. So that means people are going to start. They're going to get hungry really fast. They're going to start killing the animals, and then they're going to start killing you. And within a week or two, people are going to be so desperate that cannibalism is going to be legit. And that's when the zombie apocalypse is real. And if you think that's crazy, then you're crazy because it's legit. There's places around the world where cannibalism exists. Like I said, it's a pocket apocalypse. There's parts of Africa, like the Congo, Liberia. Those places are crazy. In the Congo, millions of people have died in the last year. The civil wars there are ridiculous. Things that are going around, just because your life is good right now, your life is good enough that you can go on the internet and listen to this thing on YouTube. Tomorrow, it could just go boom and be gone. Mm-hmm. It's just that fast. And let's just go a little crazy here. If an asteroid hits the Earth tomorrow, then what?
Yeah.
We're talking about a big one. A super volcano goes off right now, then what?
Yeah, the volcano one is the one that kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah,
and just seeing how destructive Mount St. Helens was back in the 80s or whenever it exploded.
And that volcano was a pussy.
Yeah, that was a pussy.
There's a super volcano right now in South America that people think it might go. It's in Bolivia. There's some recent articles about it. It swelled. The mountain rose up really fast. They were looking at it and they're like, "Hey, what's going on over there?" And the mountain went. No, it wasn't that fast. But there's also one in Yosemite National Park, man. There's a super volcano there that there's only a matter of years before these things happen, and ice ages are cyclical.
See, that's why
100,000 was it 10,000 years ago, or I forget how many. years ago it wasn't very long ago, honest. In our lifetimes it's unimaginable, but not very long ago, the United States was covered in miles of ice.
Yeah.
And if there's a mile of ice on top of you, your civilization's gone, because a glacier will grind everything into dust.
Now that we're kind of on this subject, what are your zombie plans? I'm sure you guys all have them. What's the first thing, like, okay, tomorrow you wake up, you haven't gone to work yet, typical Dawn of the Dead type thing. You look outside, you see tons of zombies running around eating people. What's
your
the
cell
first thing you
phone
would
doesn't
do?
work, everything's out. Or what's working?
Well, yeah, I'd say your basic. So, I mean, it takes a little bit for that.
Do we
stuff
still
to
have
go down.
power?
Yeah, I'd say so. A lot of the power plants here are self-sufficient for a little while at least. This is like I'd say probably about an hour or so after
Well, the
it all
first thing
started.
I do is I get this knife right here, and I position it so that I can fall right onto it and die. No, dude, a zombie apocalypse? I don't even know. I barely have enough food here to last a week.
Yeah.
I'm not planning for anything.
Same here.
If, at best, I would try to get a hold of my friends, possibly some family, try to get together and figure something out, board up something.
I'd go to Chris's place and do a podcast.
What we do, always
drunk.
grab as many bags of rice as you can on the way here.
It's interesting. I have all of these jugs behind my desk that just are waiting to be filled with water for just in case something goes down.
Yeah. I used to always get these gallon jugs of water. Back when I was driving, I'm biking now, so I can't put a gallon of water on my bike and run around. You can, but it's a pain in the ass. There was one time when I would fill them up at the beginning of the week, and there was one time my fridge had 7 full gallons of water, and I was like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
But you're really not ready.
My first thing would be to think of all of my friends that have guns and ammunition.
Go to their house.
And most likely just hang out with them. Be
Yeah.
buddy-buddy again. I know we haven't talked in years, but...
Dude, when I was growing up back in South Carolina, I dated a girl, oddly enough, for a while, and her dad was a Vietnam vet that was 100% full crazy, but as long as you were cool, he was cool, and I was cool, so we were cool.
So he's the type of guy.
So he was the guy that I would go to.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
That dude had... like I said, we were cool, so it was cool. One time he's like, oh, yeah. He's like sitting in his chair in the living room, and behind his chair was a row of guns stacked up, ready to go.
Nice. Sorry.
But don't worry about those guns behind him, because those would take a lot longer to reach than the gun right here, right here, right here, and right here. And then he had his spot at the table. And he had his table, like a dinner table, but he had it pushed up against the wall, and there were chairs. Like chairs were against the wall. And those chairs were just basically shelves.
Okay.
And when he was sitting at the fucking dinner table, he's all like, I got right here, right here, right here.
Yeah.
Just all these guns.
Yeah.
And they weren't like safety guns. These were guns ready to fucking go.
Oh, yeah.
This guy
That place isn't baby-proofed.
This guy, yeah. This guy
Where'd you meet this
deal.
girl?
High school.
That's definitely an interesting family.
Yeah, like I said, he was kind of the crazy guy, but he was cool, man. He's a cool guy.
I would drive really slow. I think that's the biggest mistake I see in all zombie movies is people just freak out. And start
driving fast. And crazy. Yeah.
Drive really slow.
Look, the last thing you want to do is go crazy in any situation. Just, no matter what's happening, just kick back and be like, haters gonna hate.
That's definitely gonna be the first thing I'm gonna do is just take an hour to just breathe it in and think about the situation, assess the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
See, Texas is pretty cool that it's got a lot of flat land, so I'd probably just head out to the middle of nowhere where I could see a good several miles around me.
So we could go up in the mountains here in Colorado as long as it's like summertime.
I'd head east to like my small hick town.
It'd probably be easier heading east.
Yeah.
Getting out of that. But man, the mountain's probably pretty safe.
Oh yeah.
But you got a bunch of bears in there, don't you?
I was just gonna say the mountain lions and animals up in the.
Yeah, you gotta worry about monsters out here.
Yeah.
Monsters are real, people.
Like Bigfoot? Do you guys have Bigfoot there?
No, I mean like bears and
Yes,
cougars are
Bigfoot.
monsters, man.
But do you guys have Bigfoot there? Is he from there? Where's he from? California, right?
I thought he was from Russia.
He's more of the Pacific Northwest.
Well,
There's
I
a lot more Bigfoot. This area is where we are. Is not great Bigfoot habitat. However,
I thought you guys had one.
it's possible.
Colorado,
Did you hear about this? This Bigfoot. They think they're pretty sure that he exists. They're like 95% sure that it exists in the in Siberia, or that far. There's parts of Russia or whatever they call it now. It's such a large area of nothing but just forests and death that they're pretty sure there's something out there. Like they're like totally confident now, but it's just so much area that they haven't.
Oh, of course, they haven't explored it. It's horrible over there. It's like death.
Yeah. The gorilla wasn't even discovered until the 1900s or something, like 19-something.
The mountain gorilla.
Just a regular-ass gorilla.
Oh, I thought because I know the mountain gorilla was just recently discovered.
Yeah. Well, actually, they just recently discovered what's called the Bondo ape, or Bondo chimp. It's like a giant chimpanzee. It's ridiculous. It's scary as fuck. This chimpanzee...
What is that?
It's called the Bondo chimp. It's a giant chimpanzee.
Oh, yeah.
What these things do, they don't really have any info on it because these things are in the Congo, where we talked about earlier. The Congo is all fucked up right now. You can't just go there and study species. But apparently...
massive.
Basically what these things are is they're basically just like a chimpanzee, which can murder you at any point it wants.
Oh, yeah.
With ease, no problem. You can just grab your face and tear it off and you're done. No big deal. But these things are giant chimps. They're huge. And what makes these chimps so significant is they bed on the ground. Now, most all apes and monkeys bed, a little bit up in the trees, except for gorillas, because they're bad as fuck. I don't know. Maybe they go up in the trees, but I don't know anything about anything, so we've already been over that.
Yeah.
The point is, these Bondo apes bed on the ground, and they call them the lion killers. Because these things are known for killing like cheetahs and lions and stuff, and just just grabbing them and ripping them to pieces and eating them, like no big deal, because they're so big and so they're like the size of a human. The normal chimpanzees are like very small compared to us, but they're so muscular they can still just tear us to pieces at will, no big deal. But these things are like our size, and also just ridiculous monsters, just real life freaking monsters. If one of these got a hold of you, there'd be nothing you could do.
Yeah. It's
like, you're going to fight a tiger. No, you're going to die. A bear? No, there's nothing you can do. You're done.
Yeah, the picture that I'm looking at right now...
vodka bottle.
The picture that I'm looking at right now, it weighs 270 pounds. Mm-hmm. The guy next to it is 1.8 meters, so he's almost 6 foot tall, and this thing is just as big as him. It's
I think you're talking about the one that was killed near the airport recently.
Yeah.
Yep. See? Boom! I'm on my shit, motherfuckers. This is one of the most rare cases where they actually got one. And it got near an airport and a guy shot it. And these things, like I said, they're just...
I bet it took a lot to take that thing down, too.
Well,
They're called billy apes.
Yeah, there's plenty of names for them. Basically, that's like a local name, right?
Bondo, I think, is the place, the area is like...
Sure.
But, yeah, I think...
Like I said, I don't know anything. I'm ready to accept any information you have. But
I am now frightened.
Those things are legit. But the point is, the reason that they bed on the ground is they're not scared of cats. Big cats in the jungle are the ace predators. They're the top-level things. But these things don't give a fuck about those cats. They're like, whatever, you come attack me, I will rip your face off and eat you.
Well, there's so many animals like that that are being discovered
all the time.
That are freaking scary and giant.
Did you see
those
that?
Idaho wolves.
The Idaho wolves. Well, that's a case of introducing a different wolf to Idaho.
Oh, okay.
Because the wolf population in Idaho was severely down thanks to hunting. But they introduced this other, like, Canadian wolf as a giant, and it got humongous. This thing is a giant. There's a picture of a guy who's a big guy. He shot one, and he's holding it up, here like this, and this is just the wolf's chest, and its head is way up here. This wolf is way bigger than the dude.
Yeah.
Like, its limbs are thicker than his arms and legs.
It made the Twilight wolves look like pussies.
Yeah. If you want to be a vampire for Halloween, just sprinkle some glitter on yourself.
Yeah, no.
Those things are pussies compared to these real nature. But there was another one I read today. You can look this up. over 6 miles deep in the ocean. Joe Rogan retweeted this from somebody else. Over 6 miles deep in the ocean, they found giant single-cell organisms.
What?
And by that I mean, by giant, they mean like 4 inches or like a foot across. As one single cell being that big.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like 6.6 miles deep in the ocean. And
whoa.
they found these through these crazy cameras that they can send down that can survive the pressures.
And those are just one cell.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
No,
how is it that
doesn't.
big? If one cell is that big, imagine if that thing
I was just thinking that, yeah.
made a full-ass critter.
Deep in the Marinara Trench, that's about 7 miles
Yep.
below the surface.
You found it. That's how
They
I prove
found-
how real I am, people. Is I got another guy on my shit that's Googling what I say and confirming it. So when I'm telling you motherfuckers, you best listen.
It's they found a huge single cell amoebas. It's man, the ocean is terrifying. See, that's why I don't leave my house for the most part. There's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm going to make about a point about the ocean as soon as I get right back.
So Jesse, you asked us what our zombie plans were.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any zombie plans?
Well,
As
as
of
I
right
said,
now?
I would totally go to the flatlands of Texas.
Okay, yeah, that's probably the best. Yeah.
There's down south. There's this huge ranch called the King Ranch, and it just stretches for like 70 miles, maybe 100 miles, and there's just lots of free roaming cows and stuff in there. So I think, and it's also right next to the Gulf, so I think that would be a pretty good spot to go.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'm gonna start preparing for
What did I say I was going to talk about when I came back?
the ocean.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Look, we're getting really close to the end here, so we got to wrap this up. But we're going to keep talking after this because we're so cool people. Maybe do a special video or something that we didn't do last week. We should have because we talked for so long afterwards.
Yeah, we talked another hour.
Look, here's the thing about the ocean. When you get into the ocean, you're at any point, no matter how deep you get in the ocean, as soon as you get into it, you're accepting the fact that you are a part of the buffet.
Yep.
And that's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
Sharks can be anywhere.
I
Big
do
ass
not-
monsters beyond those can be. Don't even be scared of sharks. Don't even worry about sharks because there's a lot worse than that. Look up cookie cutter sharks and then
Oh, yeah.
freak the fuck out. Jellyfish, what those things? They don't even have eyes. They're not even looking for you. You just bumped into them by accident.
Box jellyfish.
There's so
They'll
many,
kill you.
and there's so many poisonous things that you could just step on and be done. Steve Irwin spent an entire life sticking his thumb up the butthole of alligators and was fine. The dude jumped in the ocean and got stingrayed in the heart.
Yeah.
The ocean is scary as F.
But a stingray, you can pet some of those,
Oh,
at
they're all
petting
like
zoos.
super nice.
Yeah.
They want to be your
No.
buddy. No,
The
I
ocean
am
is terrifying.
extremely fascinated by the ocean. The things that are in there is so alien. It's incredible, but I have so much respect for it. Like I said, I used to go there every year. As a family trip, we'd go down to the beach, and I have so much respect for the rip tide, the rip toe, whatever you want to call it.
Oh.
You can just be out there in the water, and all of a sudden you're just like, you feel it pull you under, and that is it. Once it's there, that is it. You can't fight it. There's a current that is so strong. There's nothing a boat can do, let alone your fragile, mushy piece of flesh. The ocean is scary, but the ocean is fascinating. There's so much we can learn. There's so many hidden buildings and civilizations that have been hidden under it. Wow, those things we can talk about there. But honestly, we're running out of time, bro.
I was going to say that's a whole podcast there. All the ancient
Dude, I have
buildings
books.
and stuff they're finding underwater.
Hold on. Where's that? Oh, it's under your camera.
My cam there.
Can you give me that book? I'll switch.
The big one.
I just want to show. Yeah, I just want to show the cover of this book because this is exactly what we're talking about here. Hurry, go, burn. All right, let me make sure Brian's right.
If we just run out of time, we can cut out all that industry stuff that we talked about earlier.
I have this book. It's called Underworld: The Mysterious Origins of Civilization by Graham Hancock. And on the cover of this book is a picture of Graham Hancock scuba diving over some giant underwater civilization because apparently, and I've heard this guy give talks, and like I said, I got his fucking book. Why don't you eat a dick? I got the fucking book. You don't even have any books in your house, those that are listening right now. I'm challenging you all to go buy a book. point is, this guy's been there, and he talks about all these. There's all these giant temples and civilizations that he's found underwater that are based upon the old ice age. Where when there's so much ice, that means the ocean levels are lower because the water is frozen. So all these civilizations, there's so many of them. It's ridiculous. There's thousands and thousands of miles of civilizations that are miles off the coast because they were on the coastline before, and then the ice age ended. And boom, they're suddenly underwater. And we gotta end it on that because we are suddenly running out of time, but we will do more on this, and we're gonna probably keep talking about it, and I'm gonna keep recording for a special bonus, probably, maybe, I don't know, I'm just making this up right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, let us, let me activate this track, I'm gonna go deep.
Go deeper.
This is our CrunchCast. This is our CrunchCast outro, people. It's scary. It's dark. It's creepy. Everybody's freaking out. It's Halloween. Enjoy your Halloween. Drink responsibly. Go out and have a good time. Put on a stupid costume and love yourself. Not just masturbate. But love who you are and love someone else. With that in mind, follow Skanker0 at Skanker0 on Twitter, at Brian McConnell, at Chris Holden Dev. It's all at the bottom. Actually, it's not right now because I got the CrunchCast logo up. I just wanted to show off Brian's great work. CrunchStudios.com. Look us on YouTube. Look us on Vimeo. Look us on Twitter. Look us on Facebook. Jesse, you got anything you need to promote?
No.